What's up, guys? Coach Bogart here. We're going to talk about neutral grip bar split jerk balance. So ultimately what we're doing this for is to get acclimated to dropping into a split position to accomplish a split jerk with a log. So one of the key points that I want to note here as we dig into this concept is your log front rack position. So even though we're going to use just like a Swiss bar or a neutral grip bar, we want to make sure that we're doing a good job of compensating and therefore creating the same angle with our Swiss bar in the front rack position when we go to perform these exercises. So this is Gabe Deal. He's got a pretty solid front rack position here. You can see that the handles are turned up. And so the where the handle is ultimately sitting right there on his shoulders. And that's how he's kind of creating the front rack. So when we get that neutral grip bar in there, we want to create that same shoulders protracted, elevated, handles are sitting on the shoulders in that position. And we want that to be the position that we're using to initiate all of our work from, if that makes sense. This is the bar that I intend for you to use. Usually the handles are a little bit wider than your typical log there at the widest, and actually a little bit narrower than your typical log there at the second widest. Use whatever is comfortable for now. We'll compensate as we shift to the log in the future. But yeah, this is the log that we're wanting to use, something with a neutral grip handle, boxy like this. There's a lot of different variations that you might find. So depending on the gym you're at, you might have to find what's closest. This rogue bar would work. This bar would work. We want to avoid anything with curvature because that curvature is going to kind of knock that rack, and it's going to force you to settle straight just because of the bow swing. So we want to kind of avoid the curve if we can. And then we want to avoid any really insane angles like that, just because of how unrealistic they'll be. If you have a bar, like the closest that you can get is something like this with a very moderate angle, then so be it. Not the end of the world, but we do want to try to keep the handles as straight as we can with the bar that we pick. That said, we're just going to be basically performing a jerk balance with that bar. So your front rack position is going to be the one that you can use to simulate that log. So the Swiss bar is up high, elevated, protracted shoulders, all that good stuff. And then the barbell sits in the front rack like so. We line up, start actually in your split position. So this athlete, that would be the position that you would want to start in, which is your good split jerk landing position. If you don't know what that is, if we haven't discussed it yet, let me know and I'll get you some feedback on that. But we want to start there and then take a small step back from that position to load the beginning of the jerk balance and then go from there and drop into it. Don't be afraid to add a little bit of weight to this. If you can do this with weight, you're going to be able to do it without weight. But our priorities are landing in this good position with all of our split jerk position boxes checked. So the shin's vertical here, if not even a slightly back. We do not want the knee over the toes, or we don't want a forward shin angle here. Hips are square, foot back here is turned in, rib cage is tucked, and we are good and underneath the bar. That's the jerk balance. Please let me know if you have any questions. Make sure between reps that you get a full reset. Don't try to string these together. This isn't a drill that we're doing for conditioning or for strength. It's meant to help you nail down where your foot goes and how to land in this good split position. And we'll use it as a warm-up or a primer or a teaching tool before actual split jerk work under either a log or a neutral grip bar.